This was not a story. This was not a legend passed down through generations to entertain or to frighten. This was real. Nearly 2,000 years ago, in the year 79 AD, there existed a city along the coast of Italy that was full of life, energy, and movement. That city was Pompeii. It was a place where people lived ordinary lives, where laughter could be heard in the streets, where families gathered in their homes, and where the rhythm of daily life continued without interruption. No one there believed that their world could disappear in a single day. Pompeii was more than just a city. It was a thriving Roman community filled with culture, business, and human connection. The streets were lined with shops and market stalls where merchants sold fruits, bread, wine, and handmade goods. The sounds of conversation echoed through narrow stone roads, mixing with the footsteps of people going about their daily routines. Children ran freely through the streets, playing without worry, while adults carried on with their work, unaware of what was coming. It was a place that felt stable, predictable, and safe. The morning of that day began like any other. The sun rose gently over the city, casting warm light across rooftops and walls. People woke up, stepped outside, and continued with their routines. Some prepared food, others opened their shops, and many gathered in public spaces to talk and trade. There was no sense of urgency, no visible danger. Everything appeared normal. Everything felt familiar. But beneath the surface, something had already begun. Deep below the ground, forces were building, unseen and unstoppable. At first, the signs were subtle. A faint tremor passed through the earth, barely strong enough to cause alarm. Objects shifted slightly. Water in fountains rippled in unusual patterns. Some animals reacted before the people did, becoming restless, uneasy, and alert. Most people ignored it. Small earthquakes were not uncommon in the region, and life continued as usual. But the tremors did not stop. They came again, slightly stronger this time. Walls creaked, hanging objects swayed gently. Dust fell from ceilings. People began to notice. They paused, looked around, and exchanged uncertain glances. As the hours passed, the atmosphere itself began to change. The air felt heavier. The sky, once clear and bright, started to lose its color. A strange haze appeared in the distance, slowly spreading outward. The light from the sun became weaker, as if something was blocking it. There was a growing sense that something was wrong, but no one could fully understand what it was. Then came the moment that changed everything. Without warning, Mount Vesuvius erupted with incredible force. A massive column of ash, gas, and rock burst upward into the sky, rising higher and higher until it towered over the entire region. The sound was overwhelming, a deep, thunderous roar that shook the ground and echoed across the land. Within moments, the sky darkened. The sunlight disappeared behind thick clouds of ash and smoke. Day turned into something that felt like night. Panic began to spread through the city. People looked up, confused and afraid, trying to understand what was happening. Some began to gather their belongings, while others simply stood frozen, unable to react. Ash began to fall from the sky. At first, it was light, almost gentle, like snow drifting down onto the streets. But it quickly became heavier, thicker, and more dangerous. It covered rooftops, filled the roads, and entered buildings through open doors and windows. The air grew dense,
making it harder to breathe. People tried to escape. They ran through the streets searching for safety, but there was nowhere to go. The ash continued to fall, and the sky grew darker with each passing moment. Visibility decreased, and the once familiar city became disorienting and difficult to navigate. But the falling ash was only part of the danger. The real threat was approaching from the volcano itself. A massive wave of superheated gas and ash, known as a pyroclastic flow, began moving rapidly down the slopes of Mount Vesuvius. It was fast, silent, and unstoppable. Unlike lava, which moves slowly, this deadly cloud traveled at incredible speed, covering large distances in a very short amount of time. The temperature within this wave was extreme, hot enough to end life instantly. It carried with it toxic gases and fine ash particles that filled the air completely. When it reached Pompeii, it did not give people time to react. There was no warning, no opportunity to escape.
The air itself became deadly. Breathing was no longer possible. People instinctively tried to cover their mouths and noses, but it made no difference. The heat was overwhelming, and the lack of oxygen quickly took its toll. Some people collapsed where they stood. Others slowed down, weakened by the conditions around them. In a matter of moments, everything changed. The movement stopped. The voices disappeared. The city that had once been full of life fell into complete silence. It was not a slow process. It happened quickly, almost instantly. Pompeii was buried under layers of ash. Buildings were covered, streets disappeared, and everything was sealed beneath the surface. But unlike other disasters that destroy and erase, this one preserved. The city remained, the structures remained, and the people, in their final moments, were captured exactly as they were. Time passed. Years turned into decades, and decades into centuries. The world moved on, and Pompeii was forgotten. It lay hidden beneath the earth, untouched and silent. Then, many years later, the city was discovered again. As people began to dig and explore the area, they uncovered something extraordinary. Beneath the ash were shapes, outlines, and forms that resembled human figures. These were not statues. They were the remains of the people who had lived in Pompeii, preserved in the exact positions they had been in during their final moments. Some appeared to be lying down. Others were sitting. Some seemed to be reaching out, as if trying to hold on to something or someone. It was as if time had been frozen. A single moment, captured and preserved for nearly 2,000 years. A moment that told a story not through words, but through stillness. Pompeii became more than just a historical site. It became a reminder of how powerful nature can be and how quickly life can change. The people of Pompeii did not know what was coming. They did not have time to understand or to escape. This was not a story created to be told. This was a real event, a real place, and real people whose lives ended in a single day. And even today, Pompeii remains, silent, still, preserved in time. They did not escape. They could not escape. This was Pompeii.